Come, Javi, let me show you a debate between some of the greatest scholars who are discussing this very topic. Then you'll see that women can and should learn Gemara.
Hello and welcome to the first semi-annual Halacha debate of the year. Today we have Rabbi Abraham versus Rav Shmuel discussing whether women should or shouldn't be taught Gemara. Rav Abraham holds that women should not be taught, and Rav Shmuel says the opposite. Things are about to get heated.
I believe that women definitely should not be taught Gemara, and I have two different ideas from the Rambam to back me up. Firstly, there's the fact that women are not commanded to learn Torah. This is why they get less schar than a man, because someone with an obligation gets a higher level of reward. But even though she does get some schar, the Chachamim still say that her father shouldn't teach her Torah. This leads into the Rambam's second idea, which is that the majority of women don't have the mental capacity to learn the Torah properly. Instead, women make mistakes and distort the Torah. And because of this, Chachamim say that anyone who teaches his daughter Tiflu, it's as if he taught her Torah, it's as if he taught her Tiflu. But this only refers to the oral Torah. The written Torah is not ideal for women to learn, but at least it's not Tiflu.
Wait, hold up. What's Tiflut anyways?
The Meiri explains that when Rambam says Tiflu, he means unfinished, meaning that when a woman learns Torah, she doesn't have a complete understanding, leading us into the idea that maybe no Torah is better than a little Torah in the case of women because of their inferior mental capacities for Torah learning.
But there are so many contradictions and exceptions to the Rambam. Just take a look at the Prisha or the Tzitz Eliezer.
Oh? Well, what could they possibly say that would contradict the Rambam?
Well, the Prisha and Tzitz Eliezer actually don't contradict the Rambam at all. The Prisha talks about the minority of women who do have the mental capacity to learn Torah. He says that any woman who learns on their own is clearly mentally capable of being taught, so they get schar and can be taught by their fathers without it being tiflu. It's a loophole, you see. And as far as the Tzitz Eliezer, he says that there is no source that prevents women from learning Torah, and as long as the woman wants to be taught and shows that she is motivated to learn, then men can certainly teach her without it being tiflu.
Fine, I can accept that. But can you really give an example of this? Can you really think of a woman with the mental capacity and the longing to learn complicated Torah like Gemara?
Of course. Haven't you heard of Bruria? Rav Kook tells a story about a certain lowlife that would cause a lot of pain to Rabbi Meir. So he decided to pray to Hashem and ask him to kill this lowlife. And when Bruria, his wife, saw this, she asked him what he is basing it off, that he could ask Hashem to kill someone. She asked if it was from the pasuk in Tehillim that says that the sinners should be destroyed from the world. Because if so, it doesn't actually say sinners. It says that the sins should be destroyed from the world. She was so knowledgeable in Torah studies that she even corrected her husband, Rabbi Meir, and he was an amazing scholar. And in the Gemara Kelim, Bruria is quoted as a Tana, and we actually go by what she says. Her winning the Machloket shows how respected and learned she was. Another proof of Bruria's intelligence and longing to learn comes from Bruria in Gemara Pesachim. In this Gemara, Rabbi Sinle went to Rabbi Yochanan asking to teach him a certain sefer in 3 months. And Rabbi Yochanan replied, asking how he expects to learn the sefer in 3 months if Bruria couldn't even understand it in 3 years. And she was so smart that she learned over 300 sugiyot from 300 different rabbis. If she couldn't learn that quickly, then no one could. We also see from this that if 300 rabbis taught her Gemara, then that means that at least 300 rabbis thought it was okay for women to learn the oral Torah.
Wow. Well then, it seems this debate is won. Any last arguments?
I think it's time for a commercial.
See? Gemara learning from women won the debate.
True, but I'm still not convinced. Who says we're at a high enough level to not turn Torah into seafood? Not all of us are like Bruria. And besides, I'm not actually really yearning to have another class in school.
Well, that's just one exception. There's also the exception of learning relevant topics and necessary parts of the Torah in order to lead proper Jewish lives. As the Smach says, women are obligated to learn all halachot that are relevant to them.
Yes, but if you learn the Haril, he says that women don't actually have to do sit-down learning, even for relevant topics, because they can just pick it up from their surroundings by osmosis.
Actually, I did learn that opinion too, but ultimately we go by the Rambam, who says, like the Smach, that women are obligated to learn all relevant laws, and that's the halacha l'masa.
But why? I mean, if women don't have an obligation to learn Torah and don't have to fulfill the mitzvah of Torah learning, then why should these rabbis say that women have to learn relevant topics by actually learning and not just by osmosis?
Because all women, motivated or not, are obligated to learn, just not for the sake of learning. Women have to learn Torah so that they can perform all the mitzvot that are relevant to us. We learn as a hechsher mitzvah. At least that's the Beit HaLevi's answer.
But what does relevancy even refer to? I mean, women for sure didn't used to learn machshava. Women didn't even used to have schools. What's the basis for that? How did this all even get started?
I actually have a brochure that highlights all those points. It gives the history of women's learning and the importance of Gemara and machshava learning today for women. Here, let's take a look. Why women learn Gemara? A history of the Sarah Schneer Beis Yaakov revolution and how it has progressed to help women everywhere lead proper Jewish lives. The Beis Yaakov movement. Before women went to school, women used to stay at home with their mothers and learn by observing what their mothers did. Through this process of osmosis, young girls were taught about both the mitzvot and how to behave as proper women in general. Then, when women began to go to school, however, there were not any Jewish schools for women, so girls had to attend public schools, exposing them to a lot of outside culture. Sarah Schneer felt that a change had to be made. Women needed a school with Torah learning. Because of this, she started a movement to advocate for Jewish schools for women. She went to the Gedolim and most of them agreed. Thus, the Beis Yaakov schools for girls were created. The only question was, what should the women learn in these schools?
Well, that makes sense how it got started then.
So the Chavetz Chaim's opinion on what the girls should learn. So he says that that it used to be fine for just women to learn from their mothers. But once women were being exposed to so much outside culture and non-Jewish ideas at the public schools, some of which contradicted Judaism, it became a mitzvah to teach them in order to strengthen their emunah and Jewish identities, to protect them from these outside influences and teach them about midot, not just relevant halachot. This included Pirkei Avot and other books that strengthened emunah. Then the Rav Lichtenstein says that, so he used the idea of Beit HaLevi to understand the basis of the Chavetz Chaim. The Beit HaLevi says that women need to learn all relevant halachot in order to fulfill mitzvot. Rav Lichtenstein extended this idea from just halachot to say that women can learn any philosophy and any other things that relate to areas of morality in order to help women act correctly and be a good Jew. This includes all things relating to midot, machshava, and emunah, because all of these areas teach women how to live their lives as good Jews, especially while surrounded by outside cultures.
But that doesn't go all the way to Gemara learning yet.
Yeah, so that's what the Rav Soloveitchik. So the Rav Soloveitchik, he extends the Beit HaLevi's idea more than Rav Lichtenstein, but to justify women learning Gemara. So he had a really good reason for why women should learn Gemara. He believed that since women were being exposed to the highest level of education in the secular world, with access to so much outside culture and learning, they also needed access to the highest level of Torah learning at that time, and today. The highest level referring to Gemara because of its extreme complexity and intellectually deep sophistication. Therefore, in order for women to live their lives as good, passionate Jews, women need to learn Gemara.
I guess I should transfer schools.
Maybe.